Evidently, you can map the Blue Eyes structure decks to find out where the QCRs are. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more OS content. Now, this was actually something that was brought up to me from a friend of mine, and he was like, Robbie, I don't know if you know this or not, but evidently you can map these Blue Eyes structure decks. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is a shout out to A to Z TCG for those of you that are curious about this. So what you have over here on your screen, you're going to notice two boxes of structure decks, and on these two boxes you're going to notice one of them has a stamp on the top and one of them doesn't have a stamp on the top of the box. So this would be when you're opening up a display of 8 of these, you're going to be looking at the top of the display here, and you're going to be seeing a number versus no number. Now, if you are looking for the number, evidently that box is not going to have a quarter century in the box. But if you do open up a display box and you see, there is no number on this box. Oh, okay, so what does that mean? Well, if you have a box without a number on it for the display, that in fact evidently means that there is a QCR within one of those 8 decks within that box. Now, has this been tested and has this been verified? This was tested on 3 cases, actually. And the fact that it was, 6-0 in terms of decks themselves, proved on this sample size that it was a method that could be tracked for this sample. Now, anything beyond this sample size, I do not have a record or an understanding of this existing. I do not know if this works on European versions of product either. This was a pattern that that he saw, and he was like, it's really weird that, I opened up this display box and at the top there's a number, but then I open up this display box and then there's no number in here. So you're looking for evidently the box without the stamp on it. Now, why am I even choosing to bring this out to the public and discuss this? Well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like to be aware of patterns. Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like to be educated and finding out what's going on out here. And I think this sort of information is important to at least get out so that people have a little bit of an idea as to what's going on with this. Now, this could just have been a freak accident. There could have been 6 boxes of structure decks without stamps on them that all conveniently had this product or had a QCR within those boxes. It is 100% possible that this could be a freak accident. But when we get coinkydinks like this, coincidences, that kind of line up and make you go, that's kind of interesting out here. Is there a reason for this? Well, I believe that Konami, when they do these sorts of things, I believe that they actually internally put patterns into play. It's just people never really tend to find them. And if you do find one of the boxes without the stamp on the top of it, I don't know which of the 8 it's going to be. All right. So, if you're taking this info and you're like, oh my gosh, I am now educated, and you're going to go out to Walmart and try to find the display box. If there's one missing, I don't know what to tell you. There is no way to tell on the individual decks themselves, if you're going to find one, because that was the next question, okay, well, if there's the indicator of this within the box itself, do any of the starter decks or the structure decks give me an indicator for this themselves? And the answer is there is not a gosh darn thing that you are going to notice on those individual decks that's going to give you an opportunity to find this info. So if you're a local LGS and you're watching this video and you're selling this product, go get rid of the displays, because the displays are the ones that have this information, that are the clear tell of these actually, existing. Also, we did have pull ratio data a little while back. We do know that, per cases of structure decks, it's 1 in 48 structure decks. that you have a chance of even finding this. But now that you have the specific info to like zoom down, now you're looking for a stamp on this. And like I said, this does not work, to my knowledge, on European structured X. All right, there is no method to track on them because I have heard no info on those as well. And is this 100% a surefire thing? I have no guarantee on that either. Like I said, this is a small sample size that proved back some interesting results. That was enough to, you know, warrant a discussion video on this because this is good. Now, is this info going to be used maliciously? I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to get the info out so people are aware, so you know, it looks like there's a pattern here, and you can do with that info what you want. It's not helping the prices on the QCR any, to be honest with you, because the Maiden is still holding 170. You got Wishes holding 145 now. They've bumped up a little bit. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon itself just bumped down to about, what was it, like 135. So, you know, both were still about 140. But there have been some shifts actually bumping around in the value of these cards to actually do their thing. So I don't think that this is inherently going to, you know, bump these around, but if this pattern does in fact hold true, and there is something with this, if you're buying, you know, like the 3 structured X off of TCG Player out here, and, you know, you're rushing out to, you know, get these and, you know, open them, there is a very high chance now that you are buying 3 dead structured X, now that this pattern has kind of been figured out. So, you know, if you truly are going on eBay or TCG Player and you're like, oh, you know, like I'm going to buy 3 of these, I can pull the QCR. Probably not. You're probably just going to get the secret rares. I think your hopes and dreams are pretty much demolished at this point in time. So leave it to Konami's printing facility to leave, you know, a tracking record like this to do its thing. I still think that this structure deck is by far one of the best pickups in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh history. We've already had records of people out here, you know, doing well with these. So it's not like that the structure deck itself is a bad pickup. Also, those hand trap long-term value that we are getting with these, they are nuts, man. There is so much value to be had in these things for long term. Like, it really is one of the greatest Yu-Gi-Oh products of the era. And like, we do need more structure decks. I do agree with that. Konami needs to do more things like this. I know QCRs are done at the end of this. I know that this pattern is BS. You know, I can't believe that this is, you know, this is something that can even be tracked. I get that. I get that that's upsetting, and I get that, you know, people aren't going to be too happy with this, you know, existing. Trust me, I find it very weird and interesting, too, that Konami even chose to do this. But, you know, being educated, and so everybody has a playing field instead of the, you know, short amount of people having the info is what we were going here for. So I think that that's a W in itself. So, everybody, stay safe out there. Stay educated. This could just be a freak pattern that could have popped up in a small sample size. But I am willing to probably back this up and say that there's probably more to this. And be aware, if you are purchasing structured X off of the secondary market, your chances of now getting QCRs has dwindled immensely with this info actually existing. Which, you know, it's a trade-off, man. It's one of those situations that, you know, we kind of look at and we go, everybody's got to be on equal footing. There has to be, you know, a give and take with this sort of stuff. And I think it's very important to get this out there. So, have you guys, how did you guys pull your QCRs? Has anybody else found this pattern as well? That's something else that I wanted to mention here at the end, because like I only heard about this from a friend who runs a card shop. He goes, hey Robbie, you know, like, check this out. This is very interesting. But then at the same time, I've not heard of any patterns. I mean, we've always had tracking things like this on certain things. Nobody really ever pays much attention to them. They're just kind of those oddities that you're like, huh, you know, like, does that serve a purpose? Yeah, evidently it does serve a purpose. It's one of those things that, you know, you might not think about looking at, but it does indicate something, and, you know, you've just got to find the pattern. And the pattern this time was a clear indicator of QCRs actually existing. So, thanks, Konami. I really do appreciate you. So, please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I hope that this does hold true and that we're just not looking at a freak event out here. But I am curious if the European product does have a pattern similar to this. We'll have to wait and see. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.